Can perimenopause make you feel crazy? The short version of this blog post is yes, because perimenopause really can make you feel crazy. And in this video, we'll look at number one, how this happens. What's the mechanism here where the hormonal changes of perimenopause can affect your mood so much? Number two, what it feels like when it's happening so you can recognize it. And number three, 3 strategies you can use to help you feel better if this happens to you. Hi, I'm Dana LaVoie, and you and I both know that most natural remedies for menopause get really so-so results, and your only other options seem to be hormones, antidepressants, and sleeping pills. And that's where I come in to show you how to use diet, lifestyle, and customized herbal remedies that work naturally during and after menopause. So, how can the hormonal changes of perimenopause make you feel crazy? What's the mechanism that causes it? Let's look at the 4 ways this can happen. The first is lower levels of estrogen. So as you go through your 30s, 40s, and 50s, your ovaries start to fail. They produce less estrogen and progesterone, and they produce it less consistently and less evenly. And ovulation can even become intermittent, not even happening some months. Well, the lower estrogen affects your brain, right? It turns out that there are a lot of estrogen receptors in your brain. So an uneven or insufficient supply of estrogen makes the brain change, and not in a happy way. Your brain tries to compensate for each fluctuation in estrogen supply, and that compensation that your brain does affects the production of your mood-regulating brain chemicals, including serotonin and endorphins. And this can lead to mood swings, temper tantrums, depression, surprising highs in your mood, followed by unexpected lows, and all that seem to have no external cause. Also around this age, it's common for brain receptors to actually become less sensitive to estrogen, so it's harder for the estrogen you do still have to register with your brain consistently. So estrogen is directly related to your brain and mood, and that's one way having less hormones can lead to mood changes and possibly feeling somewhat crazy during menopause. While progesterone, another hormone your ovaries are making less of, is more directly related to stress. Progesterone is the calming, feel-good hormone. And when all of a sudden you have less of it, it's like someone took a fuzzy blanket off your nerve endings. And it's common to become more irritable and have less patience, less tolerance for things that didn't used to faze you. And it can make it harder to sleep as well. It's also easier when you have less progesterone for things to tip you over and get you angry. So your stress hormone levels often start spiking a lot more often. And that higher stress creates another cascade of hormonal changes that actually includes decreasing progesterone even more. So that's another way your ovaries making less progesterone can lead to mood changes and possibly feeling a little crazy. So that's how decreasing estrogen and progesterone can lead into this. And it leads us right into cortisol levels, right? That's your stress hormone, one of your stress hormones, and it can get out of control much more easily once you hit perimenopause. And this is likely to lead to mood swings, difficulty sleeping, and fatigue, but it can also cause weight gain that does not respond to exercise, and that can be depressing all by itself. Plus, increased stress can lead to increased inflammation, which makes it harder for your hormones to find balance. So when your stress chemicals are coursing through your bloodstream, it definitely affects your mood. So we covered number 1, decreased estrogen and progesterone, and number 2, increased stress hormones. Now, another way that perimenopause can cause some pretty serious mood changes is by you not getting enough sleep. So changing hormones and night sweats can make it hard to stay asleep or get deep and restful sleep. And not getting sufficient sleep can make brain fog, fatigue, your ability to concentrate, and irritability worse. Not getting enough sleep can also lead to weight gain, which I said can be hard on your mood as well. So that's part 1, an overview of how this can happen, how changing hormones can lead to feeling a little crazy during menopause. And now for part 2, I want to talk about what it feels like when this happens. And this is important because if it happens to you and you don't realize it could be hormonal, you'll just might think you're losing your mind. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about, You could have something going on that's not hormonal. Don't underestimate that. Don't rule that out. Definitely seek help if you need it. But if this happens very suddenly with other perimenopausal signs and symptoms, it could be hormonal, and it's something you want to explore. And if you don't know that it could be hormonal, honestly, it's a lot scarier. Plus, if you don't know it's caused by hormones, you won't be able to fix it, because as we'll talk about in the next section, balancing hormones is the key to feeling better if hormones are the cause. So if you haven't experienced these kinds of mood changes, they can be really intense. In fact, midlife expert Melissa Cliff says many women report that their greatest struggle in perimenopause is with the psychological symptoms. So here's what it can feel like. One thing you can experience is forgetfulness and difficulty concentrating. I had a student once who had gone back to school for a graduate degree in her 40s, and she did incredibly well the first year and a half. All her assignments were done on time, her grades were stellar, and then halfway through her second year, she developed suddenly a number of perimenopausal symptoms, including some pretty serious brain fog. She said she'd sit and read the same page in her textbook over and over, and it just wouldn't make any sense. She wasn't completing her assignments. She was just about ready to withdraw from her classes and take a break from her graduate program. She didn't want to, but she was afraid she'd fail out if she didn't, and that's how severe these changes can be. And another thing you might feel is way more sensitive. And if you guys want, let me know in the comments. I'll tell you the end of her story because it had a happy ending. But another thing you can feel is way more sensitive, right? You're phased so much more easily. Things that didn't used to bother you, cause rage or tears or total upset. It could be crying at TV commercials or not being able to let something go that happened during the day. As WebMD says, you cry at the drop of a hat. Every single molehill looks like a mountain, and even a seemingly innocent comment from a good friend can leave you screaming mad or unbearably hurt. It's also common to have less patience, increased irritability, or even rage. And I have so many students who either have kids or work with kids and notice when their hormones are out of balance because they're yelling at their kids. I had one client who started my herbal remedies for hormonal balancing and just said, whatever was in those pills you gave me, my family thanks you, because she was no longer snapping at them. And another who worked with kids all day, and she said she was having this irritability and spikes in frustration that made it incredibly hard to do her job well with kids. And she saw a huge improvement in that very quickly when she started herbal remedies for hormonal balancing. So neither of them needed antidepressants or anti-anxiety meds because the mood changes were caused by hormones. But I'm getting ahead of myself a little here. Another thing you might feel is sudden and severe mood swings. I had one student who said her son said to her one day, when you walk into a room these days, we never know which one of you it's going to be. Because sometimes she was like her old, calm, and loving self, and other times she was so irritable and edgy, she'd snap at anyone who said anything to her, like she was a completely different person. And it changed seemingly randomly from 1 hour to the next. So these changes, like I said, they can be severe. So we've talked about how hormonal changes can cause these mood swings or changes, what these mood changes can feel like. Now let's talk what you can do about them, the pros and cons of the different options. So one of the most common recommendations you might get is to take sleeping pills and antidepressants. And these might help control some of the symptoms. And again, if you have a primary psychological disorder that's not hormonally based, please don't discount getting this kind of help and talking to your doctor. Don't wait too long. Go and seek help. But if the cause of your mood changes is primarily hormonal, then to me, sleeping pills and antidepressants are just a band-aid. They are not getting to the root of the problem, and so they're not going to be your best solution. Which leads us to the next option, which is addressing this on a hormonal level. And this is a favorite of mine because when it kicks in, all the discomforts become so much more mild. Sure, while you're going through perimenopause, you might still have moments of increased stress or anxiety, but they're so much easier to manage. Now, my favorite way, let's put it this way. If your hormones are out of balance, your mood changes can be very severe. When your hormones are supported and balanced, any perimenopausal mood changes you feel will be mild. So, My favorite way to do this is with herbal remedies supported by a hormone-friendly diet. And in my experience over the last 16 years, if you keep your hormones supported while they're changing during perimenopause, any mood changes you experience will be mild. The severe changes are just a sign that your body is struggling to have your hormonal changes happen smoothly, or a sign that your hormone levels need support because they're dropping too low or too low too fast. And more on how to do that in a minute. But another option is to practice stress management and good sleep habits. And this is also a favorite of mine. I recommend combining this with hormonal balancing for a complete solution. While the hormonal balancing is working on the cause of your discomforts, it's very important to also manage stress. Manage those stress levels and try to get enough sleep, because if you're not sleeping or stress is raging out of control, the hormonal balancing won't have much of a chance. And the best ways to do this stress management is with meditation or deep breathing exercises and good sleep habits. So if this is happening to you, or you want to prevent it from happening to you as you progress through perimenopause and menopause, there are two things you want to do. Number one is to help your body balance your hormones, right? And my favorite way to do this is with herbal remedies and the right diet. And number two is to manage your stress with meditation and deep breathing. And I would like to help you with all of that. Now, because I'm very transparent with you about the way my business works and how I can help, here's how we can do this. Number one, I recommend using herbal remedies for hormonal support because they're the most powerful natural tool there is. But to work, they need to be customized to your body at a particular moment in time. So I don't mess around with generalized herbal recommendations. I find it's just not worth it in terms of the results. So if you want those most powerful results from individualized herbs, look for the next time my online program, Menopause Made Easy with Herbal Remedies, is opening for enrollment. And as long as you're one of my email insiders, you will get a special invitation. Number two, right now, take advantage of the free resources on my website. There are always free resources on my website to help you with your hormones, and they change periodically. I always try to make sure they get better. But right now, at the time of this filming, it's a free hormone IQ quiz. And in your quiz results, I will give you multiple very detailed steps you can take based on your answers to help your body balance your hormones quickly with diet and lifestyle and supplements. And wherever you're at in supporting your hormonal balance, your quiz results will take you to the next level. Plus, when you get those results, you'll get a chance at my new Manage Your Stress in Minutes a Day online mini course at the most incredible price point, because there's not much you can do in 2 minutes a day that will help control hormonal symptoms more than the right kind of meditation and breathing exercises. So go take the free quiz right now and then start taking action on those results. And when you're ready, you add in the meditation and the herbal remedies, and you are going to feel amazing. There is a reason why these mood changes happen, but they don't have to. If your hormones are supported and balanced and stress is under control, the mood changes you have will be mild. Once you understand this, you can feel better. You can control your hormones and your hormonal discomforts all through perimenopause and menopause, and you can feel great during and after that moment of menopause. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Dana LaVoie. I'm here to share with you how to use natural remedies like diet, lifestyle, and customized herbs to feel amazing during and after menopause. And please be sure to leave a comment or question below. I truly love to hear from you, and don't miss out on the free resources I have to help you get started having an easier menopause and healthier aging after menopause. The link is right below this video to go check out those free resources on my website. Thanks again for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.